Okay, so this story sounds fake. It really does. But every single part of it is real. And for a few days in 1944, British intelligence genuinely thought a crossword puzzle might have just blown the biggest military operation in history. It's May 1944, 1 month before D-Day. The Allies are preparing something called Operation Overlord, the invasion of Normandy. And secrecy is everything. If the Germans find out where the landings are happening or when, the entire war could fall apart. So the Allies go all in on deception. Not just little lies, big ones. Fake armies, inflatable tanks, wooden mock aircraft, even imaginary radio traffic. The goal is simple: convince Germany the invasion is coming somewhere else. And while generals are obsessing over spies and codes, something unbelievably stupid is happening right under their noses, in the Daily Telegraph. Specifically, the crossword puzzle. Yeah, that crossword. On May 2nd, 1944, the answer to one of the clues is Utah. Which, okay, Utah is a place. People know the word Utah. It's weird, but it's not impossible. Then a few weeks later, May 22nd, another answer shows up: Omaha. And now it's starting to feel a little too perfect, because Utah and Omaha are just places. They're the code names for two of the American landing beaches, and those names are not supposed to be floating around. Then, May 27th, the crossword answer is Overlord. Not a place, not a normal word you casually use. That's the code name for the entire invasion. And at this point, someone at MI5 is probably holding the newspaper like, hold on, no, that can't be right. Because this isn't one weird word anymore. This is a pattern. May 30th, another word appears: mulberry. That's the name for the secret artificial harbors being built so tanks and supplies can be unloaded after the landings. Still classified, still not public, still not crossword material. And then, June 1st, just days before D-Day, the answer to a clue is Neptune. That's the naval assault phase, the final piece. So now MI5 is done being polite. They're convinced someone is leaking the operation, and the timing could not be worse. Statisticians later said the odds of those specific words appearing in the same month like that are basically millions to one. MI5 assumes the obvious. A German spy is using the newspaper to signal the Nazis. So they storm the Daily Telegraph. They demand to know who's writing the puzzles, and they're pointed towards a man named Leonard Daw, a 54-year-old school headmaster. Quiet, unassuming, not exactly the first guy you picture running a spy ring. MI5 arrests him at his school in Surrey and takes him to London. And Daw is terrified, because from his perspective, he's being dragged away by intelligence agents during wartime. He thinks he's going to be shot for treason. They interrogate him for days. Why did you choose these words? And Daw basically says, they're just words, I swear. He explains his process. He's a busy headmaster, so to save time, he sometimes invites his students into his study and lets them fill in blank crossword grids with whatever words they feel like. Then he writes clues for whatever the boys chose. That's it. That's the system. MI5 doesn't want to believe this, but after days of questioning, they realize something awkward. Leonard Daw genuinely has no idea what those words mean. No secret contacts, no suspicious meetings, no explanation that makes him a spy. So eventually, MI5 lets him go, and officially they rule it a bizarre coincidence. And for decades, that's what history said it was, a coincidence. A ridiculous one, but still, a coincidence. Until 1984, 40 years later, the 40th anniversary of D-Day. That's when a man named Ronald French comes forward. Ronald was one of Daw's students back in 1944. He was 14 years old, and he basically says, yeah, here's what actually happened. The school had been evacuated from London to the country for safety, and where they ended up was right next to a massive military camp full of American and Canadian soldiers waiting for the invasion. And these soldiers were bored, homesick, lonely. So when local kids hung around the fence, The soldiers talked to them, casually, carelessly, and the soldiers used the code words out loud: Utah, Omaha, Neptune, maybe Overlord. The boys didn't know these were secrets. They just thought the words sounded cool, unusual, like the kind of word you'd use if you wanted to stump your headmaster. So the boys wrote them down, and when Daw asked for random words to fill a crossword grid, they tossed those words in. Not because they were spies, because they were kids, and the adults around them were being sloppy. That's the twist. The leak wasn't some brilliant spy ring. It was loose lips and a bunch of teenagers doing what teenagers do. Ronald French also said something else. After Daw was released, the headmaster called him into his office. Daw had figured out where the words probably came from, and he was furious and scared. So he demanded Ronald hand over his little notebook of good words. Then he burned it in the fireplace, right there. And he swore the boy to secrecy, because at that point, it wasn't funny anymore. It was the kind of mistake that could get people imprisoned, or worse. So, that's the story. The greatest security scare of World War II wasn't a master plan. It wasn't a Nazi super spy. It was loose lips and a bunch of teenagers doing what teenagers do, and a crossword puzzle quietly printing military secrets for the whole country to solve over breakfast. This is OddBox, and that story actually happened.